I want to talk about some of these impact transfers. Talk about some of these guys that could end up being impactful when it comes to the 2023 cycle, or the 2023 season, rather. And I want to start with Sam Hartman, quarterback at Notre Dame. Now, to be fair, you could make a very strong case for Sam Hartman being the top player in the transfer portal. It's not what this list is about. The list isn't about the rankings of the transfer portal players. I'm talking about impact. Who could send the largest ripple effect when it comes to the 2023 season? And so for Sam Hartman, he probably checks both those boxes in terms of really good player, high impact. But think about Notre Dame. We've beat this drum here for a long time, really since he gave his pledge to the Fighting Irish. He makes Notre Dame, today, Junior, a college football playoff contender. Why? Because they return a bunch of production on defense. I told you, I think Jordan Botelho is going to be a stud off the edge and help replace some of that production lost by Isaiah Foskey with rushing the passer. And then you bring back a ton in that running back room. So a defense that gave up right around, I think it was 22, 23 points a game. A running game that was close to 200 yards rushing a game. So I'm looking at this saying, okay, this is a tough football team. This is a physical football team. They've got all the edge in the world. Do they have the finesse? Do they have the lightning to go with thunder? Well, you add Sam Hartman, you add a complement to the run game. If you score more points that way, you can put pressure and force the other offense to press and then tee it up for your defense. Like, complementary football to me is the phrase that comes to mind when I think of what Sam Hartman could be for the Fighting Irish in 2023. Remember this, too. We've said this ad nauseum as well. Tyler Buckner was still on the roster when Sam Hartman committed to Notre Dame. You had your starting quarterback from a season ago coming back to Notre Dame at that point in time, at least. Obviously, Tyler Buckner now going to compete for the starting job at Alabama. They didn't have to go get Sam Hartman, but they brought him in because they have expectations and aspirations to compete for things like a college football playoff berth. So keep an eye on Sam Hartman. I'm telling you, the impact of what he brings to that team cannot be overstated. Keep an eye on Jaden Greathouse, too. He went nuts in the spring football game. I don't know where he fits in the depth, but looks like he's going to contribute as a freshman and be a guy that helps step up in that wide receiver room. It's a very big piece of this for Sam Hartman as well. Okay, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following on Twitter, at JD Piquel, on Instagram, at JD Piquel, all that good stuff. Appreciate y'all for that. Okay, another high-impact guy we got to talk about. I think he's one of the best-kept secrets in the SEC right now, and that's Dante Thornton, wide receiver at Tennessee. He's transferring in from Oregon, but he's kind of that rare blend of both size and speed. 6'5", can run like the wind. The rumors out of Knoxville, or say the rumblings out of Knoxville, are that he is a guy that will very, very quickly become an NFL prospect. Think about the production now that's left by Cedric Tillman going to the league and Jalen Hyatt going to the league. Brew McCoy's back, yes. Squirrel White, everyone expects to be a dog as well, but with Dante Thornton transferring in from Oregon, he's going to be a guy here that is put in position, I think, very frequently by nature of this offense to be in one-on-one, whether it be a corner or a safety, pick whichever way you want to lose. He's going to be a one-on-one nightmare. He's too fast to play press. He's too big to just try and sit back and hope that you get a jump ball your way. Like, he's going to be every bit of a problem vertically, as I believe Cedric Tillman could have been last season for Tennessee. He's going to catch a lot of vertical routes, and he's going to be a mismatch for corners. Also, doesn't hurt that his quarterback this coming season in Joe Milton can throw the ball a quarter mile. So safeties, good luck trying to defend him vertically. I think he's going to be an absolute force in 2023. They're going to spread the ball a lot at Tennessee between him, Squirrel White, Brew McCoy, but Dante Thornton, I think, is just another weapon that this Tennessee offense is going to benefit from, and a guy that you're going to hear a lot about come fall. A guy that we had on this show not too long ago. How about Bear Alexander transferring from Georgia to USC? Big D tackle. I say D tackle, defensive lineman, because he told us here, listen, I can play anywhere on that defensive line. One of the reasons I like USC is that I can do that. 6'3", 305 pounds, played as a freshman at Georgia. He's going to wreck shop in the Pac-12, man. I'm just telling you this. USC had a major need on the defensive line. They needed to get tougher in the trenches, in the middle of that defensive line specifically. Bear Alexander checks that box with authority. Size, speed, power. Again, an SEC defensive lineman, not to dunk on the Pac-12, but they're going to have some problems with a guy like Bear Alexander. And the reason why this is so impactful is USC, like I just said, it was an area of need. And if they just get tougher on that defensive line, they get tougher on defense, period, the offense is going to score a ton of points. This is not a novel take. This is not something that you haven't already heard before. But Bear Alexander in the middle of that defense, if they're able to just get 10% better, they're able to take away the narrative that USC isn't a tough football team up front. I think USC is competing for some exciting things in the fall. We'll predict USC when that time comes and as to where they end up in the college football playoff landscape, in the Pac-12 landscape. But I'm just saying they could have used Bear Alexander against Utah. They could have used Bear Alexander against Tulane. And I'm not so sure that the outcomes of those games aren't different if you have Bear Alexander on your football team. So I'll leave it at that. Staying on the line of scrimmage, let's go to the offensive line of scrimmage now, or the offensive line rather. Javion Cohen, interior offensive lineman, transferring from Alabama to Miami. Now, he was the number 22 player overall in the transfer portal, and the reason why I think he's so impactful is Miami a season ago could not run the ball, could not protect Tyler Van Dyke. Y'all that know this show, y'all that have tuned in for any length of time, you know how I feel about Tyler Van Dyke. I don't think he got magically worse from 2021 and 2022. I think a lot of it was the scheme. They've now changed to Shannon Dawson's way of doing things offensively, and I think it was the personnel around him. So Mario Cristobal, by nature of what he did in the portal and what he did on the recruiting trail, agrees, goes and gets a new OC, and goes and gets 2 offensive linemen through the portal, Javion Cohen being one of them, and gets Francis Malagoa to play right tackle. He's going to be a true freshman, but you feel really good about what he was able to do at the high school level at IMG, playing against some of the best competition in the country. Another guy that Charles Power is high on, says he's the most ready offensive lineman to play as a freshman in a deep 2023 cycle. So, again, Charles Power showing you why he has the track record that he does. If you can protect Tyler Van Dyke and you can run the football, good things are going to happen. Javion Cohen playing in the interior of that offensive line at the guard position is going to be a big piece of Miami taking a step forward in 2023. It's a pivotal year for Miami. Same thing I said about Auburn. What you're selling on the recruiting trail this time next year has a lot to do with the year that you have in 2023. If the offense can have a better push up front running the ball and you can protect Tyler Van Dyke and he has a better year and the offense puts up more points and you win more games, well, then you go from pitching for Miami, you win 5 games again, you say, oh, man, hey, come be a part of this. Help us change the culture. Help us change the narrative around Miami and get us to where we want to go. But if you do those things that I just mentioned, and Javion Cohen being a big part of that, then you say you see the trend. You see where Miami football is going. We're only in year 2. We made massive improvement. Won 8 games. Come be a part of this. I don't mean to overstate the importance of Javion Cohen, but I just think the impact of him on this team and what he could mean for this team and their success in 2023 is immense. And that's why we have him on one of our impact transfers here. Now, last guy I want to talk about, Dasan McCullough. Listed as an edge at Oklahoma. He's going to play their cheetah position. I believe he's going to end up winning that position battle and be your starting cheetah on day one, which is kind of a linebacker defensive end hybrid. What Isaiah Simmons played for Brent Venables and Clemson's defense. He transferred in from Indiana, and to me, he just embodies the change in the defensive personnel at Oklahoma. They're going to be bigger. He's 6'5", 222 pounds. They're going to be faster. He's got a ridiculous 3-cone drill. I think it's something in the high 6s. Going to be versatile. It's going to play, I would imagine, a lot of times rushing the passer. He's also going to play a lot, I think, dropping back and playing in man or zone and pass coverage. Like, he can do a lot of things for you. And Brent Venables' defense, in a lot of ways, is predicated on that personnel being able to do multiple things. And Dasan McCullough, like I just said, embodies that to a T. I think he's also going to be one of the breakout players in college football. But if Dasan McCullough can elevate Oklahoma's defense or help elevate Oklahoma's defense as a whole with all the other pieces they've added to that defense, the offense, I think, is in good position. As I'm going to tell you here very, very shortly in our next segment, I think the offense is in great position. If they can be better on defense and get to the quarterback more frequently and just not have as many busted plays, to be honest with you, they're going to have a chance to do some good things in the Big 12. So Dasan McCullough, Javian Cohen, Bear Alexander, Dante Thornton, and the Wake Forest transfer Sam Hartman to Notre Dame, all guys that are high-impact transfers and are going to be a part of their team's success in a big way in 2023.
Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.